Hi everyone, I'm Gabriela from Tulip Art Designs and you're welcome or welcome back on another watercolor sketching tutorial. Today we are sketching this. So I will show you very fun and relaxing wet in wet technique to paint it after we draw with our fine liner. So if you need something creative for your free time, I think you have to stick to the video. Let's dive in. Okay, before we start, I want to walk you through the supplies very quickly. You can also find a list in the description below. But I have a watercolor sketchbook, I have watercolor paints, I have my Mary Blue. This is not sponsored at all. These are just my favorite watercolors. I have two round brushes. Wait a second. So I have size 4 and size 10. 6 and 8 are also fine. Then I have a fine liner. I use Pigma Micron right now, size 02. It is a waterproof, so we first sketch and then we add watercolors and the ink lines will not bleed. I have Gelly Roll pen. It is a white Gelly Roll pen and I use it to add highlights in the end. Eraser to clean, to erase the pencil sketch. I have a heat gun to speed up the process. I'm not very patient, so it's always very important for me to speed up the process a little bit. And then I have water and a towel. I have a clip that can help me just make sure that my sketchbook will stay flat. Then let's start with adding some sketch lines. I am just checking if we can see. So I usually start with the outline, and when I sketch with my ink pen, I start very light at first and then I go back and just add thickness, more details and stuff like this. I really like the size 2 of my pen. You can of course try different sizes because from my experience I see that the watercolor paper sometimes gives just different results, and the feeling of drawing with different sizes of pen is also different because of the different texture of the paper. So if the paper is very smooth, maybe another size will be better. So I will go back and just add a little bit of thickness. So in this way, my illustration will start looking a bit more unique, a little bit more deep, so it will have its own character. I am adding the details. And for the details, I will just keep them very light. What I mean when I say this is that I will not go back and make the lines thicker. Okay. I think I will not draw the outline. This is just a guideline where I want to add my background. So for this one, I want I think I want to start with the background, how we do that. So I just want to erase these pencil lines very well. So let's take some clean water, and I will start adding water all around my ink lines. I will try to work quickly, so if you see that it's getting dry, you can go back and add more water. So we are going to use wet in wet technique. We will just make a very nice background. I am going to use blue just because this one lives in the water. Of course, you can go with the colors you like. I will make a wiggly edge. You can always look from the side to see the reflection of the light. This will help you control how much water you have on the paper, if you need more or if you need less. You just want a very nice wet surface, even wet everywhere. Okay, and then you can grab your favorite blue. I am using Prussian blue. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing this correctly. When I use wet in wet, I usually grab paint directly from the pan here, so it's more concentrated and you can see what it does. It's more concentrated and it's a very nice and vibrant color. It moves around in the water. You can just enjoy this. You let it go. You don't want to have perfect flat wash. We just want to have a nice blue background with all these different values of the colors. So I am just dropping in the paint and I'm letting it do its job. Okay. Then I will go around the edge and grab more paint to make it even more vibrant. It's quite warm in here, so I think I have to speed up painting. I want to have a very dark background because I want my little guy here to pop up, right? And the key for this is if we have a dark background. So you can start just tapping with your tip of your brush to add even more darker spots. Don't be afraid to use paint directly from the pan, because you already have water on the paper and it will mix with your paint and it will make it lighter. Also, the watercolor paint tends to dry lighter than you see it when it's wet. So don't be afraid if it looks too dark. Just throw in more paint. I'm definitely adding a little bit of water directly in my pan here and taking that paint and throwing it in. Okay, we need this to dry and then we will continue. Okay, now for the second part, I will take my smaller brush and I will do the same thing. Now that I used the heat gun, my paper is still warm. So I think I am going to need to use a little bit more water. I'm adding water. I try not to touch the blue part so much because the water will reactivate the blue paint, and I don't really want this, but even if it happens, that's totally fine. So we can look from the side. So we can look from the side to see how the water is going, if we need more or less, just checking the reflection. I am taking some yellow and I will drop it in. I will use the tip of my brush. I hold my brush a little bit on an angle. I am tapping and moving the tip of my brush on the paper, very gentle. So I still have some white spaces and I have some yellow. But I just have these very soft edges. I will drop in a little bit more paint around my ink lines. To make it just a little bit darker. We can take a little bit of light red or maybe some orange, something like this. Keep it very creamy consistency and make sure that you don't have too much paint on your brush, and go in again just in a few spots. Make sure that you're adding it on a wet surface so it will bleed and it will create very beautiful shapes that are actually not shapes at all. Okay, I think it's getting dry, so I will just stop here. I want to add a few dots here in the end, and that's gonna be it. I want this to get dry, and then I will finish the illustration with a few just small details. Okay, now that this is dry, I need the paper to cool down. I want to let you know that the outlines of these illustrations are available as a printable template on my Patreon. It's just $5 a month. So if you like to have it, including the exclusive classes and early access and the community, then come join me there. Now, I want to use my ink pen to add a little bit of contrast and This will make my lines pop up a little bit. I am not redrawing everything, I'm just adding a little bit of details. For example, here I have it just on the bottom, maybe here on the bottom, something like this. Okay. With the Jelly Roll pen, what we do is to add a little bit of highlights. So we are searching for some contrast. So let's say here, where we have these dark elements, we can add a little bit of white. Maybe inside these little details here, maybe for the mouth. What I usually do, so the rule I follow is that I add white where I have the darkest parts. So this really brings some extra contrast. Something like this, I think, is absolutely fine. One little dot for the eye, and I think that's it. I really need some finish. So for this, I will use my bleed proof white. I will grab a little bit of paint. I use clean brush with a little bit of water directly here from the jar. I'm mixing it so I can make a very nice creamy mixture. I pick this paint. I will hold my brush horizontally and I will start tapping it so it will make a very nice small white splashes, splatters actually, on the dark blue. This is a very nice finish. Okay, we need to clean our brush. Make sure you always close your paints very well. If you use gouache or bleed proof white, it's important that we close them so they don't dry out. We can still use them, but it will be a bit different. I think that's it. Thank you very much for joining me on this creative tutorial today. I hope you liked it and I hope you enjoyed it a lot. If you need the outlines, the template is available on my Patreon. I will link it below. Make sure to subscribe to my channel so you will not miss any of the coming videos, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Bye!